a live presentation like this where I'm not out riding my trike. I just thought I'd talk to you. I'm so glad that we're getting this chance to talk, and I can tell you a little bit about myself. Well, obviously, my name is Franklin Mays. My nickname is Red Smoke. I'm an adaptive athlete. I'm also a veteran, and I'm a father. I'm not going to answer too many questions about my children just for their sake of their privacy. But I would love to talk to some other people about anything else, about adaptive athletics, about what my next event is. I think I can share a lot of things about myself with you and where my training is and what I have coming up next. So I'll just wait for everybody to get on. Wait a couple more minutes before I say too much else. I'm coming to you from Michigan, which we're in the hundreds right now, so it's a very hot day. I'm probably going to stay inside and do training today. Yeah. I've got a sprint triathlon coming up on Sunday, and I have some triathlon camps coming up soon. So I'm not gonna try to do too much before my first time. Hi, I see I have somebody on the line. So glad for you to join me. If you would like to tell me where you're watching from, I'd appreciate that. And hit a like for the video. I appreciate it. I'm so excited to talk to other people and find out what's going on, and just tell a little bit about my story. Well, since I have somebody on, I will start. Hi, I have two people now. please leave a like and ask any questions if you want. Um, so, hi. I see I have my other caller there. Um, I I'm gonna have to. I'm never sure who I'm talking to, so I'll just say hello. So it's good to hear from you. Like I said, I'm an adaptive athlete. Um, I have I have a traumatic brain injury, and this is my first live stream where I'm answering questions. Yes. Like I said, I'm an adaptive athlete. I had a traumatic brain injury in 1995, and I've had a couple of subsequent concussions that have kind of hurt my ability to do a whole lot. I did try working for many years after that. Eventually, I just got frustrated. I was having trouble. So, adaptive athletics is kind of a way to give my life some meaning and some purpose that, it's a goal to accomplish. And I just enjoy it too. So, what am I training for next? I have a sprint triathlon coming up in on July 19th, and I'm training for that. I'm flying out to Los Angeles. Oh, thank you so much. It was. I'd love to share that with you. My traumatic brain injury. I was at U.S. Army Airborne School. It was right before I was getting commissioned as a cadet, or right before I was getting commissioned as a second lieutenant, and I volunteered for airborne school, and I made my first jump, and then my next memory is 4 or 5 days later waking up in a hospital, and I had no memory from them after that. Am I okay now? I'm as good as I can be. Obviously, there are some deficits that come from a traumatic brain injury. One of the biggest outward signs you could probably see is I have double vision. So everything I see two of. And that obviously that makes driving a risk. That also, anything that involves speed, I'm never sure if I'm looking at one object or two. So I have to slow down. I miss a lot of things. So, that's the reason I either ride on a tandem bicycle when we're doing a triathlon, or I'll ride on my tadpole trike, which if you've ever had a chance to go and see any of my videos, I record a lot of videos of me riding on my tadpole trike, which, because it has 3 wheels, I have a lot more balance on it. Now, this triathlon I'm going to on Sunday, I'm not going to be riding on my tadpole trike. I'm going to be riding on a tandem, which is like I'll have somebody sitting in front of me that'll be basically doing the steering, and I will be in the back, and I will just be pedaling like mad as fast as I can. So that is the whole goal, is just to go as fast as I can. I was really proud. The last time we went, of my last triathlon, I think we averaged 23 miles an hour over a 12-mile sprint. So I was really impressed with that. I thought that was a good amount of speed. One of the other effects sometimes I have from my traumatic brain injury, I have some cognitive deficits. I have trouble, well, obviously, I have trouble sometimes speaking and finding words. And see, I'm on the spot right now, so this is difficult for me. But you guys are a great audience. But I have trouble with like planning and organizing. And you know that showed up a lot when I was trying to work. I was hard to keep all the tasks you have to do in a job organized, and I did the best I could with it. You know, I was married and had 3 children, so you learn to do the best you can. You know, not married anymore, but I'm still a father, so you know that's important to me, and would love to hear some more questions. And please feel free to hit like on there. Question: do you want to know the future? And I just would love to answer some more questions. And if anybody would like to see, I'll take you over to the other room, and I'll show you what all the medals I've won so far look like. If anybody would like to see that. My next triathlon is in Los Angeles, California. What else can? Oh, well, let me just talk a little bit about getting ready for California. I'm leaving out of Michigan at I've got to be to the Detroit airport by 5:30 in the morning to catch roughly about a 7:30 in the morning flight. I live about an hour and a half from the Detroit airport, so I'm going to take a bus to the airport and fly out. So that's going to be a really early morning. That'll be 2:30 in the morning that I'll have to leave. And yeah, so that is plenty early. And so I'll get to LA about 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I have to catch an Uber from Los Angeles Airport to Long Beach, California, which I've been to LA a few times, and it's a big city. But I hear about these Waymos, and I would love to be able to take a Waymo somewhere. I wish I could. I would pay for it just to have a Waymo take me to Long Beach, California, because I think that is so cool. Hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Oh, they left. So, but that's okay because I understand that this is all about building an audience. So, I would like to show off. Let's see. I want to show off my medals real quick because not many people probably know this about me. So, let me show you my medals. Okay. This is everything I've won so far. I started about 2 years ago. So you can see, let me zip in here. That was really cool. That was, I ran the Detroit International Half Marathon. And you see half of it is for the Canadian flag and half of it is the United States flag because you run over the Ambassador Bridge into Canada and you come back on the Windsor Tunnel. This is my other award I got for walking the Detroit Half Marathon, and that was in Detroit. We didn't go over into Canada. This was probably one of the most fun marathons I've ever done. This was the Las Vegas Half Marathon, and there were bands all up and down in the center of the strip, and that was a lot of fun to see. Now, this is probably the coolest looking, if you can see how that spins. I got this for the Chicago Half Marathon, which is along the shore of Lake Michigan, and loved it. I got second place in my division for that. That was for my the Grand Rapids Sprint Triathlon I got. Didn't have a great time in it, but it was a good practice. Oh, I want to definitely show you this. You see this? This is for the Pleasant Prairie Triathlon. I got this medal, and I got third in my division. This just happened a few weeks ago, so I was super proud of that. This was for a 5K I got for the Unified 5K, and actually I won first in my division for visually impaired athlete. That was pretty cool. If I can, that was the one I got for. That was the medal I actually got for first place in my division. This was also really cool, and this is a finishing medal I got in Leon's Triathlon, which is in Hammond, Indiana, which is where they're moving the Chicago Bears to next year. And that was really cool. That was a medal I got for attending the Winter Sports Clinic. Like I said, I'm a veteran. That was out in Snowmass, Colorado. A lot of fun. Did that one. What else can I show you? If you notice on all my training bibs, I write the word red smoke, which red smoke is my nickname, but it's also kind of like a mantra that I say. It means for me to go fast. So it's like a nickname and a war cry, you could say. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see some of the shirts. I film YouTube videos in here, and some of the shirts that I have on the wall. Of course, Dare to Try belong to that. That's who helps me with the marathons. And then Team RWB, very good veterans organization that does a lot. Here is Team Oscar Mike, which is out of Illinois. I've found a real place for them. They're very helpful. Actually, one of the members was my shout out to Arthur. He was my guide in the Chicago Half Marathon. He's also a member of Team Oscar Mike. And I have the Move United Warfighters jersey that I got when I became a member of Move United Warfighters. So I'm glad I got to show you off those things, because those are really important to me. So let's go back over. I've showed you my medals. I'm over here if anybody wants to ask me anything else. We'll have a couple more minutes of this, and then I'll cut it off. So like I said, it was the first live stream. I'm not doing anything fun. I'm just sitting here, but I wanted to answer some questions about, my traumatic brain injury, and about some of the deficits I have with it. I can tell you that my brain injury was either considered it's somewhere between a mild and a moderate brain injury. It's considered mild because I didn't have a penetrating head wound. It's considered moderate by some standards because I had a loss of consciousness, and I have amnesia of greater than 24 hours, which was a really weird time to your last memory is me jumping from the airplane, landing, my first jump, and then waking up in a hospital, and just being really disoriented and not knowing what was next. How long have I been doing triathlons? Well, about a year and a half ago, I was at the Heinz VA in Chicago, and I went to an adaptive swim aerobics class, and I happened to meet a couple of a guy named Ryan Quilty, who was with Dare to Try, and he introduced me to the team, and he used to also he would lead a video workout group for veterans that were blind and low vision. And I started going to that group, and they talked about Leon's Triathlon in Hammond, Indiana. And I did it. Had a great time. I was so glad I got to go. Met several people that had been in the Paralympics, and that was my goal at the time, was to go into Paralympics. And eventually, that didn't happen for me. I don't meet the classification. I understand most people that want to go in the Paralympics don't classify. It's a very narrow band, so I had to find something else to give my life some meaning. And I can't say that I've completely abandoned the idea of trying to get a slot for the Paralympics, but I just know that it'll have to be different than what I expected it to be. The adage, when one door closes, another one opens. So that's what I'm doing. But so right now I'm doing triathlons and enjoying that and training. And it's given my life some meaning and some purpose, and gives me a reason for training. How often do I train a day? I would say that I train, my goal is to train 12 to 15 hours a week. I do a couple of the things that I try to do. I try to get in 70 to 80 miles a week cycling. I try to get in 10 to 15 miles a week of running, and maybe 4 or 5 plus miles of walking, and add some strength training in that daily. I don't always reach that, but that's a goal that I try for. if there's any other questions. Like I said, traffic's a little light today, but that's to be expected. It's not the most engaging thing just sitting here. I wish I was out riding my trike, but I think this is important too, to kind of tell you a little bit. And I think when I come back from Long Beach, we'll have a Q&A, and we'll talk about how my experience went, and something I'm really excited about, going to nationals, and something that's on the horizon. Well, I'm not much for dead air, but I've been on 27 minutes. That's a lot of time, and we did get a chance to talk and answer a few questions. I'm going to do another one of these next week, and I'm going to show off my medals that I won, and I look forward to talking with everyone further next week. And thank you so much for tuning in, and asking questions. If you liked what we did on this channel, please leave a like. You can subscribe and support my channel. I said that completely wrong. Sorry. Please leave a like if you like the video or any of the things I discussed. And if you want to see more videos about an adaptive athlete, please subscribe to my channel, which is Red Smoke Adaptive. And I look forward to talking to you guys another time. All right.